Hello everyone, my name's Ice37 and today we have a very nice match of bingo, and that being, let me check it one more time so I'm not saying it wrong. We're gonna have the Neuron Eaters versus the Cyclists. This will be Dreki Armor, Uranium Eater versus You Fools and Leon Sujiket. Now I am Ice, and additionally with me here today is Sheldon for commentary.
Hello, I am Sheldon's pet rock. I am the person who really likes gourmand crafting. I really like gourmand crafting, so I'm hoping that we roll gourmand. But that's just me personally. So, without further ado, let's spin the wheel. What slug cat are we gonna get?
Yes.
Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
Oh,
No,
it's happening!
Yo. Yep.
Yes.
So now
Our
either
dreams
team
are real.
either team can decide if they would like to veto this character or not, or if both teams are okay with gourmand, then we can start a match as gourmand. So
Surely they will not veto this. No, it's already vetoed.
no.
No, we'll see both teams veto. Very important. They both veto. So neither team wants to play Gourmand. It's all over for Gourmand. All right, we're gonna land Gourmand a second time though. We're gonna see if they feel anything. So I was talking about just a second ago. The wheel has a setting for how long it spins, and we were always unsure, depending on where the wheel starts to spin, will it always land in the same spot? Given that it just landed on Gourmand twice, I don't think that is true now. I don't really know what's going on. We're gonna see if one team doesn't veto to gain the system and have the other team lose a veto that did not happen. It's gonna be Gourmand again. No, it's gonna be Spearmaster. Even worse, actually. Regardless of what you feel about Gourmand, I think Spearmaster is rough in a lot of cases. I think it can be alright, but we've had a lot of odd starts or just going to weird places. Garbage waste is difficult. And then hopefully we just never have to go to Moon again. That would be really nice.
True. Spearmaster in general, yeah. Spearmaster in general is also really difficult character because they have very challenging spawns compared to a lot of other slug cats. So overall, matches tend to take a long period of time just because it's hard to progress without getting like a bunch of lizards and creatures stalling you.
I know one of the teams at least had that experience with Spearmaster a while ago, so I'm interested to see if they're going to be okay with it this time. One team is okay with Spearmaster. The other team is going to veto it. So we are going to be rolling it again with this. One of the teams no longer has their veto. So the other team basically will just get to decide whatever we do. It's Spearmaster again, which is super odd that this has happened. I've never seen it roll the same Slugcat twice in a row. And we've now had it happen twice in a row. So it seems like the world absolutely hates the one team that just vetoed them. And we're gonna figure out what's gonna happen this time. So looks like we're gonna do Spearmaster. We're gonna have to figure it out. One thing, so everyone's thinking about it now, is we're not going to be re-rolling spawns unless it is absolutely necessary in our minds. So basically, if we spawn and looks to the moon, that is when we're going to reset the save and then decide we're going to do something different. Otherwise, we're going to go with whatever we're going to get. I don't know what areas Spearmaster can actually be in. I don't know if Metro is a possible spawn. I don't know if Outer Expanse is a possible spawn. Though places still exist. so I can only assume that they're possible places that you could roll into and spawn in.
Yeah, I think from what I remember, this is again like super long ago when I was personally trying to get all of the collectibles, like the data pearls and all that. I remember reading that at least in expedition mode, I think only like artificer, monk, and survivor can like roll a spawn in Metropolis. But again, I could be wrong about that. That's just what I remember from a long time ago.
Okay. I think it's a bit unfortunate to be not able to go to some of these places as the other characters, but it makes sense as they probably don't want to deal with doing different spawns, although they probably could just do the same spawns. It wouldn't be too bad. I'm forgetting, now that I see the square on the board, I believe there are mass scavengers, and I kind of really want to see... That would be an interesting square to have something dealing with them. Where is reactive map? I wish to see where mass scavengers may be. I think there is always one in Chimney, if I'm not wrong. Except I don't know where it tells us where these spawns are.
Might be in the off-screen den, maybe? Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it is. It is.
They always
Yeah.
kind of put it up. There's 2 mass scavengers in Chimney, it seems like. There's a lot of odd things for that. Let me check. The wall also will have scavengers. It has 8 scavengers, and 3 mass scavengers show up at night. A lot of night spawns here for different things. I've forgotten about the mechanic, because most times it doesn't matter as much. For now, we're just going to be changing different things. I already see a square dealing with Moon. We'll find out if we do end up having one of these much harder squares. We have been deciding lately we like to have just a few randomly hard, maybe super out there squares that are more going to be the super long game kind of things. Right now, we've mostly been thinking about having it for the middle square. This Dodge Leviathan square is potentially good enough for what we want for that. But we'll see what production decides here. I am also seeing we're trading from merchant to merchant, and a reminder for everyone, Spearmaster does not have a stomach and cannot store items in their stomach. So that needs to, you need to have it in your back of your mind that you need to have that one hand slot always dedicated to that item at all time when moving between merchants.
True. I remember people who run like the Spearmaster story percent run. That's one of the things that they hate the most is that Spearmaster can't store things in their stomach is, yeah, it's really bad. Really difficult to deal with.
Thinking about it for other things for Spearmaster, sometimes food is easy, sometimes food is hard for Spearmaster. A lot of just kind of standing around, just making spears, does add up for a lot of time, but everyone has to do this, so it is one thing or another. I'm forgetting, where is this grapple worm unlock? I think it's Underwall Land.
Is it in the corner between leg and underhang? It
It
might be.
is in the corner. Because this is Spearmaster, the connection to Precipice does exist, however. So maybe that will, in fact, get used during this match. I'm forgetting if we actually had people use that gate to exterior. I think so. It has been known that the fastest way to go from Precipice and the water area to Sky Islands is to go through the exterior, if people can so figure that out. I do not think you can go from base shoreline up to Precipice, however, not by any normal means, at least.
Yeah, because normally for Spearmaster, there's Spearmaster and Artie technically, there's a connection to the sub-region of the Precipice if you go where the Tower Pearl is normally for Shoreline. However, the platforming to get from that tower up into precipice from the bottom of shoreline is nearly impossible unless you do like some insane movement tech with like EI hops and stuff. But it's not really practical in a marathon setting like this. So if that does come up, then if runners are in shoreline and they need to get to Sky Islands really fast, then very likely they would not be able to take that route through precipice.
So for the question in chat, is there a guide somewhere that shows all what the bingo symbols mean? So what we are going to try to set up here is once we decide the final board, where we as the hosts are going to talk through all of the squares. Additionally, we've recently had a website finished by our own Tesla Coil that can take the copy code of the board and be pasted onto the website, and it'll have a visual that can be clicked on at your own pace and go through all of the squares yourself on what all of these squares do. So we're gonna try to set that up when we can. I'm gonna pull that up now so I can get that ready to post in the chat just before we start while we're explaining all of these squares. Now I've been liking a bit where this board has been going. I see a really interesting square of hit caramels with jellyfish right now. That seems like a very oddly specific one that was made. That is a long distance. You got to carry some jellyfish. And I don't really know if scavengers can spawn with them. I assume they'd only spawn it in like other places, like I guess in shoreline. I don't know if they even actually do. They do pick them up.
That's true. And otherwise, to my knowledge, the only regions that do have jellyfish are shoreline and, I mean, submerged superstructure, but runners aren't going to be going to submerged. Yep.
Submerged does not exist for Spearmaster either.
Oh, that's true.
So we do not need to worry about that. Let me get this website up real quick, and then we'll kind of talk about it. I am unsure. This is a really long link whenever there's an actual board to it. I'm unsure if the website by itself can help you see what a lot of the squares are. I think you still need to paste an actual board into there, which is the one current unfortunate thing. Isn't able to just have people start messing with it, but we'll give a code in a bit. All right, I'm seeing Miros birds here. I've never really seen pinning them.
I'd imagine that'd be
such an odd concept to me because they're very large.
Yeah.
I almost feel like you can't, but you could probably do it with the head. Just this is suddenly very awkward. I'm just thinking about that. I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to go for that just because I know it might not work correctly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, honestly, the best thing to do with those is, I mean, runners could potentially bring an explosive spear from the Scav Merchant and Shaded to kill the Myros Vulture or the Myros Bird.
I mean, it's not sure how easy it gets even when it's dead.
Yeah. It'd definitely be easier if they kill the bird first, but either way, yeah, that is very awkward. I agree.
I'm seeing squid cicadas on this board. Bringing one to Pebbles. We're doing the fun things, I see. Also the sea lantern, stealing a sea lantern from a scavenger. Actually, no idea. Absolutely no idea where scavengers spawn with a sea lantern. I assume they do in subterranean. I think so, at least. I don't know if the wiki tells you anything about Alien World scavengers, what items they may spawn with. That's never been something I've really known. Sea lantern. Where's Sea Lantern? Lantern of the Sea, Minecraft item.
Minecraft.
Surely.
Yep.
Surely there is a list somewhere that tells us.
I think there should
what
be a
they
list
are
somewhere on the
worth.
wiki. I remember seeing one when I looked through the wiki page once, but I don't remember where it is.
I have a feeling it's one of those pages we could never actually find. Because there's a few that are not very easily found. Scavengers. Lanterns. Spawn items. Scavenger spawn gear. Yes. Explosive spears, lanterns, grenade, DOC glowweed. There's a whole math system for this. The scavenger has a 27% chance to have glowweed if they're in subterranean, shoreline, or submerged superstructure. So I don't know if shoreline means waterfront. Are there even scavengers in waterfront? So I have a feeling this is going to be a subterranean only thing. 27% a high chance, so I'm feeling better about it. I wasn't sure if it's like 5% chance. We'll literally never see it. There is going to be the scavenger merchant, so you always have a 25% chance every single time. If you just want to go to that guy. The others are going to be randomly roaming around, so that square could suddenly become an issue later. But we shall see.
Yep. Yeah, definitely Scavenger Merchant would probably be the most consistent way to go. Because, I mean, the scavengers can literally spawn anywhere in the region, so unless you go to the Scav Merchant, it's kind of up to luck.
It's up to then stealing it from the scavenger and then not dying. You cannot trade for it, is the major thing.
Yeah, and starting with Spearmaster, I mean, that might, the Spearmaster character might work in their favor a little bit, because players could just keep gifting scavengers spears for the whole match, and then maybe if they do eventually choose to go for the steel glowweed square, then they have high enough rep where they might not get killed instantly.
Could be very interesting. No, Spearmaster does start with the lowest rep with scavengers of any character that is an artificer. So that is one thing to think about. One square that I'm not thinking about right now is the touch 6 colored pearls. So now whenever any team sees this, they're just like, I must go to Sky Islands immediately. Only Sky Islands. Now Sky Islands has 5 colored pearls, so if someone wanted to go to Sky Islands, they're not going to get the full completion of that square. They're gonna have to think about going to another location. B, C, if anything actually works.
Yep.
Does Spearmaster have a chance to spawn and looks to the moon? Yes, but we don't. We're probably gonna re-roll the spawn in case we get it there, because every time we've had a match starting in an iterator, it has not been a good time. So we're likely going to re-roll the spawn if that does in fact happen. I see hit Red Lizard 4 times, which seems pretty chill. That isn't too bad, and it makes you go to some interesting places. I know not everyone knows where a lot of specific creatures may be. I think dealing with the red centipedes is cool, because not everyone remembers where they actually exist. There's actually one in Pipe Yard, but the main ones are going to be in garbage wastes and subterranean. For most characters, it's different for every character.
Yeah, I looked over at the board and I saw the get the jellyfish unlock square. I'm like, oh my god, it's the jellyfish unlock. Jellyfish unlock, for those that don't know, in version 1.5 of the game, before like more slugcats came out, Jellyfish Unlock was one of the most difficult unlocks to get because you have to cross a really large gap that you pretty much need to do like a pole hop or like a throw boost or eat a mushroom or do something weird like that in order to get it. For Spearmaster, it might not be so bad because I'm looking at the map right now for where the jellyfish unlock is, and it looks like you have like a little bit of extra platforming ground that you can like stand on that makes the jump a little bit easier. So overall, that square, I mean, probably isn't gonna be too hard, but I just thought it was interesting personally.
Looking at it, because I know I'm forgetting how Waterfront Facility looks, so I'm unsure if the room where the jellyfish unlocks looks completely different.
It looks generally the same.
Okay. I wish to see. It does. It's like it's a little odd. I'm forgetting there's a karma flower up there too. There's 3 silver pearls there too now. I think you might just be able to jump across with this block. I don't remember existing being up there. If I go to Shoreline, it looks like that is much easier to, the jellyfish unlock's much easier to get a Spearmaster, so it's not that crazy. The box got wiped away after Spearmaster. There used to be a box sitting there that you could jump off of to easily get it. This is what I'm seeing right now.
Yep, it's because all of that rain and stuff, the heavy rain that just like destroys the infrastructure over time. According to Rain World lore.
Lore moment.
Yep.
Rain World lore dictates slugcats will attempt to dodge leviathans for no reason. See the... I always called it Traveler, but I know that's not what it is. The passage where you gotta rest in a different cycle for, I believe, 4 or 5 cycles in a row. I don't think anyone's actually gotten that in a tournament yet. I am interested to see if people do go for it. Major squares that I'm seeing here are the ones on the diagonals to remember. Chimney Echo, very big, very decently central in the world. 6 karma flowers. Now we have determined that there are 3 karma flowers in industrial and 2 in outskirts. So you can get 5 of the 6 fairly quickly. And then there's 1 immediately in chimney and there's 1 immediately in shaded. So if you do play it right, you can get those pretty decently. 1 item from 1 merchant to another. Very interesting. I see in the bottom right, old garbage waste arena unlock. Now we're gonna be torturing people. I see. I always see one of the hard squares kept changing to other things. Like thinking of new things every day.
Yeah, I really hope.
I think that might be, I don't know. So we got garbage waste old unlock, the Miros bird pin, and steel lantern. And those are the ones I see as the hard. And there's take a squid to pebbles. The right side seems really hard. And the jellyfish and caramels. A long distance you gotta go for those.
Yeah, there are quite a few squares in kind of the Sky Islands chimney area. I mean, there's like the store 6 pearls in one shelter. There's the chimney canopy echo, and then there's already 2 of the squid kata goals on the board towards the bottom left and then on the right. One funny thing though about the white squid kata carrying to 5 pebbles square is because Spearmaster is such a physically light character compared to other characters, they can do what's called squid kata starve flight, but without starving. So if they do a backflip while holding a white squid kata, then they can literally just fly as high as they want.
In my opinion, just holding a squid cicada as Spearmaster is horrible. So I don't I think someone's gonna start trying to do that square, and then they're gonna stop. Is what I see is gonna happen. Because that is a incredibly difficult square to go from Sky Islands to Pebbles. Have to go through all of the wall. I mean, it can die, but the moment it dies, you can't carry it up anymore. So it's gonna be very, very hard to figure that one out. I'm thinking about pre-cycles suddenly, but there are none. It's 1% chance for a pre-cycle. If you did actually go for it, 5 squid cicadas spawn at the top of the wall during a pre-cycle, and so you can just take it to Pebbles. I do not think anyone wants to go for that, to just roll a 1% chance. So we'll see. I'm liking where everything is. Also, for the square that people are seeing on the left middle that people need to be aware of, that is the tame squid cicada. So it has to be the dark squid cicada in this case. And how we tame them is usually feeding the same one a bat fly 2 different times. There's also kind of a weird setup where if you bring one into a shelter and you save, and then you save again, whatever the conditions may be in that second save, you will also get that square. I don't know why it's delayed like that, but that's just how that works. So if people don't want to really deal with throwing bat flies, they can just go to a shelter and then get it.
Yeah, that square in general is a little bit finicky because I think you can also have trouble getting that square if you, say, give a squid cata a bat fly and then they have trouble finding their way back to their nest because you have to give them 2 food items to befriend them fully. So it does work. It's pretty smooth if it works on the first try, but it can go wrong potentially.
Yes, I want to see where these arena unlocks are. The red unlock for Waterfront is all the way next to, looks to the moon in the bottom of Waterfront. So that's going to take a time to get, as well as the jellyfish that you might be getting on the way for the caramel coming back. A lot of going to be carrying items for one thing or another, mostly the jellyfish and the merchant. Luckily, the merchant's only 1 item, so it's not going to be too bad. Bombing Garbage Waste Square, never been too much of a problem, but going to Garbage Waste as Spearmaster, very difficult. Now, the arena unlock in Old Garbage Waste is on the way from Shoreline and Industrial, as we understand. And we've just been told that this is going to be the final board here. Sheldon, would you like to go over the first row?
Yeah, absolutely. So starting in the top left corner, we have hit Red Lizard with items 4 times, store 2 lanterns in the same shelter, grab the grapple worm unlock that's located at like the junction between the leg and underhang, grab, I'm not sure what pearl that is, touch the purple pearl, which I think looks like it's the pipe yard pearl, I believe, and then steal a gooey duck from a scavenger.
All right, for the second row here, we're going to be bombing one of the Garbage Waste's tolls. Now, if I look this up, it's a little bit different in Old Garbage Waste, but this is going to be the one that we consider to be near Shoreline, although it looks like it's a bit more disconnected from the connection to Shoreline, so it's a bit more out of the way this time. Then we're going to have getting the Chimney Echo, and then we're going to be taking a hazer through 2 gates. Now, because we don't have a stomach, we cannot put the hazer and carry it easily through gates, so we do have to be carrying it ourselves. We're going to be killing 2 Miros birds, which seems really nice because I had no idea how pinning them would go. We're then going to have getting a Vista Point in Drainage System. The Drainage System Vista can be in one of 3 locations, and the runners will not know until they check those locations.
Yep, so starting on the third row, we have befriend a black squid cata by feeding them bat flies, centipedes, baby noodle flies, etc., etc. Touch 6 different colored pearls, store 5 vulture masks in the same shelter, get the, I believe that's the outlaw passage, if I recall correctly, and carry a white squid cata into 5 pebbles.
For the 4th row, it's going to be getting the Jellyfish Arena unlock. Then we're going to be eating 6 Karma Flowers. And the Waterfront Facility unlock for the Safari, which is right next to the Moon entrance at the bottom. It's going to be hitting Caramels with Jellyfish. Jellyfish really only existing in Waterfront Facility. Then it's going to be getting the passage where you have to save in a different region for multiple cycles in a row.
Yep.
Also, I am going to be posting the board on the website so people can click on these squares themselves and figure out what everything does themselves if they so please.
Yep. So now going down to the bottom row, we have first square is take 1 item from a scavenger merchant and give it to another scavenger merchant. Pin 3 black squid katas in garbage wastes. Get 180 creature kill points overall for the whole match. Get the chimney canopy vista point wherever that vista point spawns. It has 3 separate locations where it could spawn. So runners will have to find that and then collect it. And then get the arena unlock in old garbage wastes.
Right.
Yep. So we are about to start the match. There we go.
Starting here. And we're going to see where they're going to spawn in a moment. This seems familiar. I'm thinking this is bottom right, either chimney or outskirts. It is in outskirts. So this is going to be a decent starting location. The one problem is we are starting with 2 karma, so we cannot leave this region yet.
Yep, people need, at least 3 karma is required to take at least the gate in industrial.
I think it's 4 to drainage as well.
Yep, so runners will have to
start popcorn. There is no popcorn near drainage, where normally other characters would have that too.
Yeah, so they'll just have to find like lizards and other creatures and stuff and then get food the normal way. I already see a red lizard on Drecky's screen. Might be able to get the hit red lizard square right away, potentially.
This red lizard square is going to be the easy one here at the beginning. I don't know how many times Drecky has hit this red lizard, but going back between the pipe over and over can definitely slowly get it, depending on what they're thinking about. I don't know what Drecky has done. They definitely hit the red lizard, but I don't know if they've hit it enough times. Maybe they're thinking about going back here. Is a Karma Flower. Now, Neuron Eaters also potentially thinking about the red lizard. Everyone's kind of hanging out in relatively the same area, but everyone's mostly going for food and that Karma Flower.
Yep, this is definitely a good spawn for the Karma Flower squares as well, because as Iced, you were mentioning earlier that there's 2 Karma Flowers in outskirts and 3 Karma Flowers in industrial. Those 2 regions are also kind of centrally located in the world as a whole, so it's very easy to just go to some other region and then pick up 1 extra Karma Flower, and then at that point, ideally, you would get the square, essentially.
Can we do anything else while we're here? I guess we can get Outlaw, which right now, Drecky killing all these newts is a good way to do that. The mother noodle fly is not happy, however, and it's a bit awkward. They tried to time killing the mother noodle fly, but the baby came out instead. So now they've killed the mother, so it's all good.
Yeah. I feel like Outlaw will probably come down to whichever player is able to hibernate the quickest and not die too many times.
You Fools is going to be the first to hibernate here.
Yeah, because
everyone else is fighting.
Yeah, because the whole point of Spearmaster is that you're essentially hitting creatures and damaging them in order to get food from them. So Outlaw is pretty much a given as long as you just keep hibernating.
Leon's in a really bad spot here. I don't know how you deal with this in this situation. Not a good spot to be in. You need to stay next to a pipe or in an inaccessible place for the red lizard there. You Fools is now near the red lizard again. They've hit them twice now. Picked up the 2 spears again. We'll see if they get it. It seems like that's 4 hits on the red lizard now. But Dreki did get it right at the beginning there. So really fast on the uptake there. I don't know how many kills I gotten for Outlaw. Looks like they're halfway to Outlaw. I don't know how many you Fools got. Outlaw square is going to be gone very, very quickly. Very big square to get that red lizard hits immediately. So for while we're here, for squares that we can also get is going to be the tame a dark squid cicada.
Oh, that's true.
I'm
Because
interested to see if anyone actually goes for that, or if we just leave. So
yeah.
I believe only Dreki and Ufos have saved so far, and then Leon has died once, so they're going to be stuck here for a bit longer.
Yeah, which I guess on the bright side, now that blue team has the red lizard square, Leon doesn't have to commit to that anymore. He can choose to focus on other squares that are maybe less dangerous.
I'm thinking, where would be a good place to go? I feel like everyone just wants to go to industrial, right? There's no reason to go to drainage or subterranean here, is there? It's a lot of chimney and garbage waste to the shaded or otherwise, or connection to moon, not shoreline land. There is the vista point and drainage, but I'm not sure how much people are going to care about that. And hopefully the runners have figured out that there is the steel lantern in subterranean. That can happen. But maybe people don't want to go for the gamble here.
True. I definitely feel like industrial is the more versatile option here, but just remember that in drainage system, there are also hazers that you can bring, say, from drainage system, and then maybe go through outskirts, and then industrial to get that transport hazers through 2 gates. There's also quite a few karma flowers in drainage system as well. I think there's like 2 or 3.
There's also just a dead hazer in outskirts that can and will count. It looks like Dreki's gotten the tame squid cicada here really fast. Very good. However, they are still in outskirts. This will shut out everyone else that's in outskirts, but it does give you Fools a chance to get out of the region. Looks like Uranium Meter's also getting out of the region. I didn't notice them save yet, but they must have if they are already going here. Karma Flower potentially going to be helping out the players a lot in this match as well. Very easy to die as these characters. I'm starting to think about middle square. That's getting 5 vulture masks. That's a lot. That's not necessarily the most reasonable thing to get without vulture cheese. So yeah, we're thinking about only vulture cheese here. It gives it more reason to go up chimney with that vulture cheese, the echo, and the chimney vista. Vulture cheese and the echo being both on the same top left to bottom right diagonal. If I'm you Fools, I really want to stop that, and I'm going up chimney.
True, I was looking at that square and I was like, there's no way people can get that without vulture cheese. That plus the points square down at the bottom. Anytime there's a points goal that shows up, I remember when Lightning commentates on these bingo matches, he's like, oh my god, it's a point square! We've got to do vulture cheese! Which, I mean, vulture cheese is like a very, very good strat for getting lots of points in a short period of time. Again, it's not the only way to get that many creature kill points, especially as a creature or a character who has as aggressive a playstyle as Spearmaster. But again, that incentivizes vulture cheese. So we will see what runners decide to do later on in the match when we get closer to Chimney Canopy area.
Supermaster is definitely the character that I would say you can just get these points if you just exist. But it depends on how much the players are willing to just exist and start killing things. Leon having a bit more of a problem going through outskirts here, but it won't be too much of a problem if they are going to be going for points. At this point, if I'm Leon, I am thinking about I just go for points here. Raining Meteor going back up to the gate again. I'm not sure what happened earlier, but they might have died and lost their Karma Flower, which isn't too much of a problem. I feel like I never care about the Karma Flower square. Dreki locking in 2 more squares for blue. That's 3 squares for blue now.
Yep, so blue team definitely getting an early lead on some of these squares, probably making red team a little bit nervous right now.
The grapple unlock is in exterior. Okay. This is going to be a hard match for red at this point because blue's gotten what I would think would be all of the easy squares at the beginning. And now everything's going to have to be a fight to get. I'm wondering what everyone's thinking about direction to go. Right now, Leon just needs to get kills, which I think will be a great help in the future. But once you start getting up these kills, what else are you going to be going for? Is it going to be mainly Chimney? I see a lot for Chimney. If Dreki goes to Chimney right now, it's putting a lot of pressure on red team. Both red teams actually still in Industrial. This looks like you fools also died in Industrial. So staying in Outskirts is going to be a bit rough as both of blue team are already into Industrial. Leon getting chased by 2 drop wigs here. A bit of a sketchy situation, but it looks like they got out of it. Both the drop wigs are dead now. Very nice.
That's good, yep. Yeah, that underhang and outskirts specifically for characters like Spearmaster, Artie, and Hunter, it's just completely full of drop wigs just on that big underhang portion. And it's kind of terrible if you're like not expecting them to be there. And even if you are, they could be in awkward locations and you might not be able to hit them very easily. But again, that is good that Leon managed to survive that and is continuing to grab points for red team. Maybe red team will be able to get the point square before blue team does.
It would be very, very important. I am just seeing teams need to get distance. It's going to be Chimney. It's going to be Garbage Waste at the start here. And then Shaded is also going to matter quite a lot. Looks like Leon's going to be getting the first mask of the match here. We do have to get 5, however. So it's going to be quite a long trek uphill. There are only 3 vultures in Outskirts. Leon not taking the mask, actually, which I'm a little surprised about, as I know them as someone who likes using the mask quite a lot, but maybe it's because they're playing Spearmaster, they are not thinking about it as much. Or maybe they don't think going for 5 masks at the same time is nearly as worth it. It's more worth it just to get up their karma. Which it definitely is the more important thing. Just want to force getting anywhere else right now. Not thinking about anything else. Neuron Eater does appear to be going to Garbage Waste here, while Dreki is right next to Chimney. Bit of an awkward situation with this red lizard. It's not moving out of the way as you would hope. You fools is at 4 karma now with a karma flower, so they're feeling much better now. Really hoping to get a head start on going to some of these other areas. Dreki still getting trolled by this red lizard directly underneath him. Really hoping they go anywhere else. You need to stop making sound if you want them to move out of this area. But they got it, so perfect. Getting stalked by scavengers is Leon. Really odd place for them in Outskirts. You fools picking up the first of colored pearls. I don't know if Dreki touched that one, or if Dreki's thinking about that. So that may come into play later if UFOs goes to Sky Islands. That could be a good block on that middle line. If I see legitimately there is a line of doing Vulture Cheese, and then you go to Sky Islands, and you got 4 in a row in that middle row, and then they go for bring a white squid to Pebbles, which I see as almost impossible. I have done that setup before, and it is really hard as Spearmaster. I don't know if anyone else has really used a squid as Spearmaster. You're basically not touching the ground, So it's hard to correctly do a backflip to set up the trick. And then when you're in the trick, you're a sitting duck. You don't move fast. So you're going through one of the heaviest one-way streets with a lot of bad enemies while barely able to move and barely able to control your own inputs. So I think you set up that 4 line and then you don't go for it. You could definitely go for it. Maybe you know a lot more than I do on moving around with Spearmaster, with a squid. But as I've seen it, is very, very difficult. Dreki has decided to go into Chimney here. Granium is going to Garbage Waste as well, while You Fools is going to Garbage Waste too. Maybe they're not thinking about that middle line as much on Red Team, or thinking that Leon could definitely go up the Chimney much easier than You Fools, which I know with Leon's experience with Hunter's story, that might be exactly what they are thinking. It looks like Leon's going out of the way for the Karma Flower up here, so they're potentially thinking about a different line in the future.
Yep, or they could just be trying to get some kind of majority of squares right now, because again, a lot of matches will end up not going for bingo, and a lot of matches people will get blocked off from all possible bingos, so getting
It's
squares.
definitely, you still got to be thinking about the block, however. It looks like You Fools had a
Yeah.
death that's really unfortunate, as they were just getting into Garbage Waste there, if I wasn't wrong. So now your Meter is going to be able to have some distance there going into Garbage Waste. So we'll see how that goes. Dreki is probably saved in Chimney, so this is going to work out quite well for them.
Yeah, I see they have the Vulture Grub already. They're probably going to be thinking about Vulture Cheese soon.
A little bit awkward to carry this guy all the way up there, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, I wonder if anyone's thought about the Hazer either. Maybe it's not in the most opportune of locations, but it's something to think about. Dreki's also touching, Leon's also touching the colored pearl in Industrial. So both on Red Team at least touch a pearl. Dreki may or may not have touched one as well as Uranium Eater.
Yeah, Dreki in a little bit of a tight spot with some of these lizards, it looks like, but seems
Leon
to be able to get past
having
them.
some bad luck trying to get some food with this blue lizard. However, the blue lizard actually dropped them, and they didn't even get in a fight with anything else. They just kind of shoved them in the wall and they let go. Very odd situation. Not something you'd normally see.
It's possible the blue lizard was injured. I didn't see what happened with that lizard exactly.
If you would injure them as Spearmaster, they would just die, though.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I'm
I guess
confused as to what happened there.
Maybe the bingo gods just decided Leon should live another day.
And that'll be definitely in Leon's favor as they go to Chimney, or maybe they go to Shaded. Wiggle out of grass. Wiggle out of grass does not work if you are stunned. It only works on soft grabs, such as leeches or the DLLs, or even pole plants or kelps. But for pole plants and kelps, doesn't help that much. Actually, don't know if it works for centipedes now that I'm thinking about it. At least I haven't really tried it for them. Second pearl for Dreki here. I have a feeling they're really thinking about going to Sky Islands. One of the pearls is quite annoying to get in Sky Islands at this point, and because there's 5 in Sky Islands and Dreki has touched 2 of them, they are in a decent location to get those 6 pearls. And then White Squid to Pebbles might actually look pretty appealing at that point. One thing I'm definitely thinking about is what our Red Team thinking about. If you were in this situation, Sheldon, what would you do? I know you're saying a lot of matches don't go to a bingo, but that's because people are blocking the bingo. So you still need to block what the other team is doing. And right now I see potential 2 different 3-ers in a row for blue team here with the Echo and the points cheese with the vultures. If Leon cannot get up chimney and contest them.
Yeah, true. At this point, I would think that maybe if I've like died a couple of times at the beginning of the round, I would think, oh, blue team might be a little bit ahead of us right now. So it's more likely that they'll snipe some of the goals away from us, which is, I feel like I would be kind of nervous. That'd be a very dangerous situation to try and recover from. But at this stage, like if I was looking at the board personally, I would see only like 2 squares in a row max, and I would not really be 100% sure which row or column blue team would be trying to go for, but I could maybe guess that someone is going for vulture cheese just because vulture cheese seems like a pretty popular strategy for collecting vulture masks and getting points, especially because the vulture mask square is in the middle, which middle square is usually the most valuable square out of any of the squares that you can get on the board because there's 4 bingos that go through that square.
Looks like You Fools has gotten their first Vulture Mask and is fighting a second Vulture here. This Vulture might be running away, however, if they've been hit twice. Looks like they are. So that's a bit unfortunate. No second mask for You Fools, but just having this mask in general will be very, very useful going through this region. I actually don't know how many lizards are fully in this region, but being able to deal with some of these spots is going to be quite the help. Both You Fools and Uranium Meteor are in the same room, so it's going to be definitely a fight going through there. Looks like Leon is opting to not go for Vulture Cheese and is instead going to try to get the masks here at the bottom of Chimney. Either that or they got really unlucky. It did seem like they're trying to use the grub to summon a whole lot of them. Looks like they're going to be leaving the grub this time. So maybe deciding not to go for it a second time. I can see that working out for them, however, being able to deal with that much better. Looks like Dreki had a death at the top of Chimney here, so that puts Dreki and Leon in the same space and gives Leon a chance to catch up and get to the top of Chimney. Leon still has the second grub they can pick up on the way and get the Vulture Cheese if so needed, while Dreki's going to be carrying the one from the bottom, which could become a hassle as time goes on. Leon looking for potential kills here. Otherwise, slow movement for Uranium and You-Fools as they move through this creature-dense area of Garbage Waste. It is interesting to see that there's one player on each team in going for different setups. And so they're basically going to be fighting each other for these squares. Major ones for Garbage Waste are going to be pin Black Squid Cicadas in Garbage Waste, as well as trading from one merchant to another and bombing one of the tolls in Garbage Waste. I am unsure how well they will be finding these 2 lanterns to put in a shelter. Otherwise, just getting to waterfront facility would be quite a big deal for some of these squares, such as the diagonal for hitting a caramel with jellyfish. I'm unsure how many points Leon was at. It seemed like they were in the hundreds if I was reading that correctly. That would be quite a good spot for them to be in. Very annoying location that Dreki is in right now, but they're moving through it well. Going through all of the pipes, not too much of an issue. Looks like Uranium Eater locked in the pin Black Squid Cicadas there. I actually didn't think they had enough, because I saw You-Fools also going for it, and they didn't get the full 3 is what I was looking at. So I wasn't sure if there's going to be enough right at the beginning here. So that's a bit unfortunate that happened to You-Fools, as I know they were doing a lot of work for it. At this point, I have no idea where You-Fools is, because the setup here in Garbage Waste is much, much different to the base Garbage Waste region.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map right now, and all I know from my own memory is that U-Fools is vaguely in like the right half of Garbage Waste, which I believe is closer to the Arenas unlock down at the bottom right corner. So U-Fools might have an easier time getting that arena unlock over Blue Team currently. And is probably U-Fools is probably also closer to the toll as well, so might have an advantage in getting those squares, but again, Uranium Eater is very quickly catching up, very quickly traveling to the right where those other goals are located. So
I don't
again,
think you fools noticed that blue team got the pin Squidcicada square and is still trying to go for it. It's a bit unfortunate. Hopefully production can clear that up for them, as they're not seeing the progress for it. I'm a bit confused at what's going on with it. Now, looks like they figured it out, and they're going to be moving on to the arena unlock, which is going to be extremely important for this match. That bottom right square blocking a lot of things on blue side if you fools can get it over your rating meter. Rating meter went back to the left to save, so they're still more in the beginning area, while you fools is way at the more or less the end near shoreline. So
yep.
Ufo is getting a save over here. It's going to give them a head start on those squares.
Yep, and going over to Drecky's and Leon's portions of the bingo match is Drecky is currently a little bit ahead of Leon in terms of just activating the Echo and saving in order to do the Vulture Cheese, but I believe Leon has more points overall, potentially, than Drecky Warmer. So, again, Drecky Warmer
is gone to the wall instead of saving next to Sky Island. This might be just because they went for the popcorn and they want to make sure they can actually save here.
Yeah, potentially. I also did see that that room just below the Echo room, there was a King Vulture down there, so they might have also had some issues trying to go to the left. Is also possible.
We do have to be at maximum karma. I do not believe anyone has used a passage. Maximum karma for the Echo to show up. Drecky's already at it, but Leon, I believe, might be at 3 karma. They are at maximum as well. Okay, they might have used a passage, or they've just been saving a lot and getting karma flowers. But I thought they were a little bit less. Drecky thinking about what they want to do for routing coming up. I think you got to go back in the chimney and you go to Sky Islands and you get that Echo. If you see, I think you got to go for Vulture Cheese, and then if you see the other team gets it, you get the Echo. Is going to be the main setup here. You need to be reactive.
Yeah, that is a true point, because you can, in order to get the Vulture Cheese, you have to not collect the Echo, but if you collect the Echo, then you can't do Vulture Cheese. So yeah, it's definitely going to be...
So maybe you just want to move on and you just get the Echo and you just move on, because just getting that square locked in still puts a lot of pressure on the other team. If you're blue team getting the Echo, that is. If you are giving up that middle square, you are unsure. Now, again, if you're blue team, you have no idea where red team is. But if you're red team, you know there's someone in garbage waste, and you probably are going to guess someone is in chimney as well, as those are kind of the really two main places that have good stuff going on. I believe You Fools has gotten the arena unlock and just needs to save. So they're going to be using this mask so they can walk through into the shoreline area here. Now the sign was a bit awkward. It wasn't like actually trying to kill them. It just got so scared and then body slammed them. So they fell off the perch there. They do have to cross this really scary room though, with the acid. I think you gotta wait and you grab a Squidcicada. At least that's what I want to do. when I'm doing this section. I think you gotta drop the masks you've been carrying, I guess is the main thing. All right, they're turning around, actually. Maybe thinking about the popcorn so they can rest after. Right now, fighting that Cyan Lizard. Didn't hit the spear. I would drop the mask at this point because it doesn't do anything for you. Unfortunately, the Cyan caught up to them, so they're going to have to do that section again, which gives your enemy a chance to come back, which is really unfortunate. You fools worked really hard for that square, and now it might just be ripped out from under them as both Uranium Eater and you fools are going to be coming out of the same shelter. You fools has already been there, so they don't need to look up where it is. So again, they have a bit more of an advantage going for it. Dreki is doing Vulture Cheese. Leon, I believe, has saved. I might be wrong. There is a King Vulture. I really hope they've saved, because if they haven't, this fight is not worth it, but it looks like it's going well. It knocked off the mask, so it's not going to fire its tusks, and now we're going to beat this man up. Killed the King Vulture. Somewhere high in the points section. Does seem like they're in the hundreds for points. So it's a good setup for Leon, but not being actually at Vulture Cheese is a bit unfortunate. Now, I believe they can save on the left near Sky Islands, which would be a better setup if possible. I don't know how much Dreki has. Now again, we're doing Vulture Cheese, all good and nice to get masks pretty decently, but it's still really easy to just accidentally fall off. Whether it be you're messing with vultures and you throw a vulture and you kind of get pushed by the creature push and then you fall off. You just mess up movement, or otherwise you do the push a vulture off an edge and you try to stab it as it's falling off, and then the head catches you and pulls you off. All things that can very much happen, and you need to be aware of while doing this. Leon still needs to save, it looks like, as the Echo is not present, so they're going to be trying to go off to the left.
And I also didn't mention this earlier, but in the room with the big gap, earlier in the same room that Leon's in, they accidentally stabbed their vulture grub, so they might have to go back down and grab another one if they want to do Vulture Cheese.
That's really unfortunate then, because the only grub left for Leon is the one at the bottom of Chimney, because now they've stabbed the one halfway up. It might legitimately just be better if they just die. So that was probably the best thing they could do in that situation. Actually, no, they did save in the wall. Both of them saved in the wall. Interesting. I guess they wanted to go to the popcorn so they could assure food, and then they didn't want to deal with walking back to the left and potentially dying to a vulture, which makes sense. But now they've got to do this long setup again. Dreki, no idea how far they are in these masks. I'm going to assume they're very far in the food, however. I almost feel like if I'm Leon, I'm feeling pressure of maybe I just get the Echo. You super need to make sure that Echo's primed. And I really hope for Leon, they've at least gone to the Echo and it has now become primed and it is there. We're not going to be able to tell. Really risky move from Leon, but it pays off for that extra speed going off the top of Chimney. You fools is in the room that they need to bomb the toll for. It's fighting all these scavengers. They killed most of the scavengers in here. Or I don't know where they're going to get a bomb. So maybe they want to just get past and then try to figure out the bomb later. I don't know how close a cache is for them for an easy bomb. Otherwise, hoping one of these scavengers has one. I think if I'm Dreki, I'm going to save now with my grub and then get my vultures back. However many masks I've gotten is however many masks I've gotten. Leon is now into the gate, the safer karma caching and for the vulture cheese, but they've started the gate, and I don't know if they meant to do that. I don't know. I think they were just thinking, I just need to get to the gate. So this might be a potential mistake from Leon, which is really unfortunate. It's still good to go there. But Chimney Echo is so important. And I know they know that. They have the grub. I don't think they meant to do this. They were just thinking, I need to go to the gate. I need to do this. Oh no. And we'll find out if they meant to do this if they jump off the edge immediately. So they can reset everything.
Yeah. Leon might also...
This might also be going for the scavenger merchant setup, as I know they're comfortable with going to the merchant here in Sky Islands.
Yeah, I think in general, Leon might just be scared at this point that blue team could snipe them out of the vulture cheese squares before he's able to get to them. So he might be just trying to do something that no one else is going for.
I just get the Chimney Echo then, because he has food, as far as I can tell. If not, he can just stab a vulture outside, and then could get the Chimney Echo and just don't worry about the vulture cheese. But maybe Leon's also not thinking about that. I definitely want to know, because I can see going to Sky Islands working, but I think they didn't mean to do that, and now they're going to be dealing with the accidental mistake that they made there.
Yeah, there's also the possibility...
We did have this happen earlier with a different run as well, where they accidentally went into Sky Islands, so I can see that. Oh, so yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but basically, I know when I'm doing bingo matches myself, sometimes I just get so caught up in like, oh dang, I gotta go here, I gotta go do this, that, you know, you just forget that some squares are there sometimes. So, again, like, yeah, this stuff happens. That is true.
I think Leon having these shelters saved in for later is one reason or another going to be very important, especially because passages exist. So it's going to work out quite well for them in the long run, but they've got to make sure they don't lose in the short run is the important thing right now. Or maybe they're thinking about the squid cicada. So maybe they are like, they're just gonna beat us on that middle row, and I gotta stop that middle row. So I can see that working quite out. So maybe they're really thinking about that middle row. Or they're getting the square I didn't even realize was an option, which was saving in a different region for multiple cycles in a row. Did not even consider this. So I guess that was the master plan this whole time. So this could super pay off for Leon here. But Dreki being able to work on this square for much longer, I have a feeling they're going to get points and the masks over red team, which if the sacrifice for working for multiple things at once that red team was doing was worth it, then they're going to have to be prepared to lose this middle square. I think they always knew they were going to lose it one way or another, so they're going to have to deal with things as they happen. What's the points at the same time? Two 2 in a row and 1 3 in a row. That 3 in a row, maybe you're not too worried about because of that Squid Cicada to Pebbles square. So we'll see how it goes. You Fools is getting in very important square, however, the arena unlock for Old Garbage Waste. Now, You Fools, I believe this cycle has been a battle for them. I think they wiped the whole toll they were meant to bomb, but weren't able to get a bomb. And so now suddenly there's this potential of the right side line for red team that can legitimately start to see actually happen. Again, the most important square is probably one of the hardest to deal with, and that is bring a white Squid Cicada to Pebbles. Is going to be not a simple one to do. Now, You Fools at this point, I think you have to go for a bingo. I don't think you can get majority at this point, or at least if you do, you're more hoping the other team messes up than so much your team playing well. So I'm starting to think about this right line, and I'm gonna be like, all right, me as You Fools, I'm going to go to Drainage, and I'm going to get the Drainage Vista, and then I'm going to go to Subterranean, and then we're just going to see what happens with Steel Lantern, because I have no idea if this Lantern guy is going to show up, but we're gonna find out. And then Leon is going to go on a major adventure with this squid, but we'll see if they're thinking about that. That's just what I'm thinking about. Maybe there's something entirely different, again, with the Traveler passage that I'm forgetting the actual name of. Very good setup for Leon, the Nomad passage, as well as getting the square for you fools, blocking off that diagonal. I think both Dreki and Neuron Eater are really thinking about what they want to do next, as they might also see that line.
Oh, I see Leon is going up toward the communications array pearl, actually, so might be just trying to get... Yeah.
Just trying to block off that line early on instead of working on the Hail Mary square.
Yeah, because I really, if I were red team, I would really not be thinking that blue team would want to go for the carry white squid kata to 5 pebbles, so it's definitely wouldn't have to go for that square right away.
For later, yes. There is also, I'm noticing that 4th row, 3 of those squares are shoreline related. So if you can get Karma Flower, however you may get that, and then you just have someone go to shoreline, that could work out. So maybe you are going to be thinking about pivoting into that. You fools now saving next to shoreline another time. They're going to get Karma 3, which allows them to get into shoreline. This could be huge for red team. Huge setup. Blue has gotten all of these squares, but it might not matter depending on what red team fully commits to. I think red team's got to commit to something. Otherwise, right now, Leon can get the pearls with the 5 pearls in Sky Islands and start flustering blue. This might just be the point where instead of maybe just going for a bunch of squares as red team, you're just trying to set up bingos to force blue to do unoptimal stuff. And then you're able to just churn out more squares as well. That could end up quite well for red team, but blue has quite a lot here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares. That's over halfway of the amount they need to get. But a lot of these squares at the end here are very, very difficult. You fools is in shoreline. They are not going to be going for that right line. So it's going to be the 4th row here that's going to be becoming very, very important, as you fools being the only person in shoreline allows them to work on 3 of the 4 squares left over in row 4 without them being able to do anything. It looks like Leon has stopped with the pearls and is instead going to be going for that squid cicada. That square, ooh, I really do think this is going to be really hard. You could see it happen to Leon right now. So there's 2 problems with the squid with Spearmaster. And that is, 1, you just can't move well. You can't carry this squid through pipes easily. Any pipe you're going to be going through, consider it that you're going to take it much longer than it needs to. Also, Leon got sandwiched between an orb there and got forcibly pushed upwards, which is a really odd setup that I don't think I've seen before. The squid decided it doesn't want to be here anymore, so this is really odd situation. I don't know where it's gonna show up now. Really, really odd. You fools back to getting food in garbage waste here. I'm not sure what happened in shoreline, but they're gonna need 1 more karma to get back into it if they did die 1 time in shoreline. Uranium Meteor still in garbage waste, potentially going for that toll. Now, I believe Dreki... No, this isn't where the grapple worm unlock is, but this is where grapple worms are. So maybe they become grapple wormed and try to use the movement to go to places, or maybe they went there thinking that was a grapple worm unlock and now realizing they have to go someplace else. If I'm Dreki, I want drainage system unlock, so I'm going to gutter, which is what they are doing now, which is really good. I've definitely noticed this connection between chimney and gutter to drainage is really important, actually, especially if you have a square like don't enter industrial or don't enter outskirts.
Yeah, that's true, because that's a connection that I always forget exists as well, but it is useful in scenarios like this, where of course Dreki did the vulture cheese earlier, and now can come down to drainage system and probably get the drainage system Vista, and take that square away from red team.
So the squid flight that we're talking about, Leon was doing there for a little bit. Essentially, if you do a backflip as Spearmaster, you can hold jump and you will levitate upwards. Otherwise, you can let go jump and press jump as you please to keep whatever height that you want to. However, you're still moving pretty slow. This is very much not a very fast target for a lot of these Cyan lizards you're going to be dealing with in the wall. So interested to see how this goes for Leon. Maybe it goes without a hitch, but this is very big square for red team, if they get it or not.
Yep, and Leon could also potentially get attacked by king vultures in this little section of chimney canopy that he has to pass through. Because I remember I personally had a bingo match where I went for a square like this before, and I was attacked by king vultures in chimney canopy, and it was very difficult to get past them. So we will see what Leon does, if they can get this square without too much difficulty, but it is, of course, challenging to obtain.
Like Dreki is back into chimney proper as they died to an eel lizard in a poor situation. Otherwise, you fools is now deciding not to go to shoreline here. I don't know how you get to drainage, so I'm not sure how this video. Oh, this is actually waterfront facility. I keep mixing up what some of these rooms look like on the new side of old garbage waste and waterfront facility. So hopefully they can save in here. Looks like Leon's having a problem with this section as they forgot that the echo pacifies the squid, which is fine now because now they can go by it without the squid being there. Otherwise, they need 4 karma to get into the wall. And they have 4 karma, so they have 1 shot to get there, and they don't have enough food to save again because they have 3 food. So it's gonna be something that they're really gonna have to deal with. I wonder what Uranium Eater it's gonna be going for here. It's gonna be an awkward setup. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be bomb. That's told the setup 3 in a row for blue team there once again, but. Again, with the threat that UFO is going to be bringing with Shoreline, what Dreki does here and trying to get down to drainage to block off that side is going to be really important, as well as I don't know where Karma Flowers are for everyone. Who has eaten what? Who has lost what? That square is going to be very up in the air. It's going to give potentially blue team time to pivot if they start seeing the waterfront facility squares. If you're blue team, Sheldon, are you thinking about Karma Flowers at all?
At this point, I mean, I would have so many options for a bingo. Like I could go left column, middle row. That at this point, like I can kind of just do whatever I want. I don't have to worry that much about what red team is doing, besides maybe blocking off just that right column with the drainage system Vista square. But otherwise, I would be not really stressing out that much.
Right. I'm interested to see. Oh, there is the Vista and Chimney. Now, I've forgotten this one exists because it's been fairly inconsequential, especially with its location on the board, but it's good that Dreki is getting it now. Unfortunate stun from Dreki. That's why you really gotta hold in on some of these falls. They know where it is now, so it isn't too much of a problem. It's going to help upset the majority win for blue if they can block off the 2 last bingos for red here. But it's going to waste a lot of time for red team, unfortunately. Blue team getting a hazer here, Uranium Eater. Maybe thinking about that for later, but for now, still a lot of do in garbage waste. Maybe you're thinking about, I just need to get to waterfront facility. Stop that bingos on the bottom. Now again, that's still, they only got 1 square. Red team's only got 1 squared on that 4th row, but 3 squares dealing with waterfront facility. It go pretty fast.
Yeah, which again, blue team, I mean, as long as blue team is able to block off the 2 remaining bingos that red could go for, then of course they can just go for majority of squares and then win from there. Leon over in the bottom right managed to get past Chimney Canopy, looks like without too much issue. Now they're trying to do the star flight to get up this room in the wall, which I think is really funny.
Here is a bit of the issue with Spearmaster is actually setting up the glitch is hard because the squid constantly takes you off the ground. Now they have gotten it here, but it looks like they hit the block there and have to reset it. Otherwise, a vulture appears to be coming down. I don't know if they've saved in this region, so it's one scary thing for Leon to think about going into these next section. Is there a drop wig right here? There is. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Okay, it's all right. It's still all right. The squid's not dead. They grabbed the drop wig. Squid's in an okay spot. We're going to see how this go. You fools getting the jellyfish unlocked, but all of the eyes are on Leon here. Thinking about this squid skid, it's below them. I don't know if they know that. We'll see where this squid may show up again, if it flew off into the distance or if it will come back. It is not down here. So we'll see what happens with this squid. I think Leon's got to go back up there and check out what's going on. With that squid still being alive, I think you got to check for it. Oh, they're just thinking about resetting and doing it again. Looks like they're thinking about resetting and doing it again, so they're not going to worry about it. It's going to be a good, quick reset, but they don't have a way to get back into the wall right now, unless they use the passage, which could be really bad because they want to get into Pebbles and then passage.
Yeah, it looks like you fools locking in that jellyfish unlock square though for red team, so they at least have 2 potential bingos that they could.
Immediately passaging out though, not going for the other squares on that 4th row, which I'm a little surprised about. I guess they're just thinking about blocking squares and just going back to industrial here. Maybe they're just like, wait, they're gonna fake going there and go to drainage instead afterward. Is that what they're doing? If that is actually what they're doing, that could be the best thing. But they didn't passage to outskirts or industrial. They passaged to garbage waste. So no, they're actually going for the garbage waste square, it seems like here, which is not really what I would have expected. Either way, it seems like this could be definitely a fake to have blue team be really confused where they are.
Yeah, I mean, technically there is also, I believe, a connection to drainage system from garbage waste in like the bottom left portion of garbage waste.
That
so
could be much better setup. Drecky's still getting really close to drainage here. Them fully committing to this direction potentially is going to work out really, really well for them. And then maybe Drecky telling Uranium Meter, hey, you got to go to the shoreline. I've got to commit to this drainage. I've forgotten there's that connection in garbage waste to drainage. It's not something that generally comes into play terribly, terribly often, or at least normally come from drainage. Leon's having a really bad time right now. I think they've gotten super in their head. This squid cicada is killing them. And they had issues with vultures a second ago, and then they had issues with going over the jump. Like, the stress here is getting them. They are just going to be using the passage. They are really going for this square here on the right side, the 3rd row.
Yeah, which again, like,
yep.
Yeah, at this point, red team doesn't have a whole lot of options of squares to go for, so Leon's probably thinking, even if this square is really hard, there's not much else that they can go for. They only have 2 bingos that are available to them still.
So there is the setup that I am kind of seeing here of, because of how Leon and Ufools have set themselves up, they are fully committing to that E line at this point, especially because Ufools passaged out of Waterfront. Scavengers in Uranium Eaters side. I'm not sure what they're thinking. Maybe they're looking for bombs near the toll and having it paused so it's not too much of an issue while they look at them. Dreki has to go down the gutter again. This could be huge for blue team here, for red team here. Really unfortunate for blue team as red team gets a chance to actually catch up here. Vista Point, again, in drainage, could be anywhere. One of the 3 locations. It could be really close to where Ufools is. It could be really close to where Dreki is when they enter the drainage region. And again, even then, you then gotta, it's up to complete RNG of that top right square of who's gonna find a scavenger with a lantern, and are you going to steal it from them properly. Leon getting the echo here so they don't have to deal with it later, and they have 2 chances to bring this Squid Cicada up the wall. I think this is going to be a monumental task if Leon can pull this off. It's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, I was thinking...
You Fools is at the drainage gate. I might be wrong. Yeah.
I was thinking that for the top right square, normally you could potentially, like... If you say, oh, steal like a lantern, for instance, from a scavenger, you could just gift them a lantern and then steal it afterward.
But do that.
Oh, you cannot? Okay. Well, ignore me then.
All right, Dreki's getting back to this chimney vista. I'm gonna get some progress on that. I guess they're not too worried about this drainage setup. I feel like blue team here is in a super bad place with these bingos. Dreki was able to get food from this sign lizard, which is good because they don't have to do it in gutter again, which has been their issue so far. Leon is just so scary to watch because the setup actually getting to the wall is so hard. It's so not good. This is one of the issues that I've had when I tested this, is you really just can't do anything with a squid.
Yeah, Leon unfortunately getting sniped by a king vulture in the air off screen, which is very unfortunate.
The one important thing about having a squid as Spearmaster is you can't slide on the ground like you would with normal characters with a squid. You can barely set up the backflip jump for doing the star flight. When you are in the flight, you are a sitting duck. You can't do anything. So this is it's gonna be really, really hard, and we're seeing the effects of it now. Leon's got 1 more shot at this before they have to save and gain more karma. I actually, because of the passage, they can save 1 more time, so they actually have 1 more shot after this one. And see how it goes. We're gonna have to get lucky with these vultures here. You Fools has found the vista. It was immediately next to garbage waste. Very lucky for them. Dreki had another death here. That's so unfortunate. Everything is going wrong for blue team after it was going so right. And this setup on the E column is slowly becoming a reality. Blue team really doesn't know what the other team is doing, so seeing this slowly form is really, really unfortunate. Both of blue team are having issues in their region.
True, and this is a very dangerous situation for blue team because I just saw earlier, but both of them are at minimum karma right now. So the difficult thing about being at minimum karma, especially on a difficult campaign like this one, is you're just kind of stuck in the same region that you're in, and it's very difficult to get out unless you use a passage to get more karma.
Now, both of red team have used their passage, as I understand, but both of blue team have not. Leon is now into the wall again, getting to the proper part of this challenge. And we're going to see how this goes. Going to hope the vultures don't show up this time. UFO's going for food here next to subterranean. I question if people know where they can get this sea lantern. And I hope they've looked up or know what the thing is for finding it. Leon saving in the wall. This is perfect. They don't need karma anymore. Perfect setup. Now they can try this 1 million times. They have all the time in the world to do this. Really, no one's going to stop them. because no one is near doing this square. As far as we are concerned, Leon's going to get this square unless for some reason it takes an hour for them to get, which as a really, really difficult square, we're gonna have to find out to see how long this takes for them. Dreki has decided to use a passage. Looks like they're going to be passaging down to Industrial, gonna be next to Outskirts. I think this is probably the better play. Give up on that Vista. You need to move on to do something else, whether that be getting the Drainage Vista or otherwise. They're going to see the Drainage Vista in just a moment here from Red Team. Red Team doing that fake could become a really huge thing. However, this might actually be Dreki getting the Karma Flower, stopping that 4th row. So still, that E-column is becoming out to be a really good thing for Red Team that they decided to go for that, as they probably expected that Blue Team would be like, all right, they're definitely going for that 4th row here. So Dreki going to be farming all of these Karma Flowers that now have respawned if they did get them earlier. And so they've gotten 2 so far right now. That is all 6 for Dreki. They just need to save to block that off. I think you got to go for the save immediately in Outskirts here. So it's going to work out really well for Dreki to block off this line. But now you're going to be like, they're in Drainage. I can't believe this. Where do I go to stop this? I'm not up in Sky Islands to stop the bring the Squid Cicada to Pebbles, and I don't even know where to do this other square. So it's now potentially feeling really bad. You're gonna have to just save for now as Dreki and deal with it. You're probably gonna tell Uranium Eater, hey, give up on what you're doing. We need to stop the E column right now. You need to use your passage and go somewhere to help that out. I don't know where you tell Uranium Eater to go, or where Uranium Eater is thinking to want to go for that, but it's going to be a big Shrek one way or another. Now, you fools has saved in Subterranean. They don't really need to go anywhere. They just need to find a lantern, steal it from a scavenger, and then move on. Now, Leon taking an interesting path up for the wall. Now, it looks like going out the outside is going to work out really well for ignoring all of these lizards, but it could become really bad for running into the vultures. Now, even if they get past this room without any vultures, the next room is going to have a lot of white lizards. We're going to have to deal with them as they happen. This blue lizard is going to be the first part of this. Hope they can fall down in the correct timing to get there. No, they're going to back off. They don't want to deal with it yet. Slow going for you fools. Look, they kill a mole lizard. Leon's dying to a blue lizard here. No square for Red Team just yet. It's going to be rough, but Leon's going to slowly be learning this, and they'll get it eventually. I do question, how much is this square going to matter on the bring Squid Cicada to Pebbles? It's going to be very hard. Or at least how much is going to matter. Is one of Blue Team going to attempt to do it?
Yeah,
or
true.
Is Dreki going to try to go for steal the lantern? Is Uranium Eater going to passage right now? Looks like they are. This is all 4 passages being used. Leon is being spun like a spin cycle by a blue lizard. Eternally fast. Praise the spinning blue lizard. Now, I do question what Leon's thinking. I think you've got to just reset and try to do it again. Looks like Uranium Eater is going to be going to Industrial, and Dreki may be telling them, go up the wall and try to bring a squid there. I think that's the only thing you can do at this point.
Yeah, Uranium Eater is passaging to Industrial Complex, so yeah. But even then, like, Leon, even though the White Squid Cicada square is really difficult, Leon is still ahead technically of Uranium Eater. Uranium Eater would have to go all the way to Sky Islands and then carry the White Squid Cicada up to 5 Pebbles, which is a lot of setup time that Leon has already made significant progress on. So we will definitely see how that goes. And then, of course, if You Fools is able to steal a Glowweed square in a reasonable period of time as well, because again, Blue Team is kind of far away from both of those goals right now.
Now, there is the thing that I'm definitely thinking about that I've just been informed of is blue team can just stop caring and get B column, and then it's over. So if someone from blue team just goes to Sky Islands and the other one goes to Shaded, it really isn't too much of a problem anymore. Looks like Uranium Eater got the Industrial Pearl. I think we're gonna see what Uranium Eater and Dreki do here. It's either gonna be I'm gonna stop their bingo, or it's gonna be I'm all in on my bingo. Blue team's bingo so much easier than red team's, but both of these squares can still get finished really, really quickly. No sea lantern from the scavenger UFOs is looking at right now. They just have a normal lantern, so we'll see where that goes. Now, I don't know how many pearls everyone is at, but 6 is a lot. And I really do think you just get one from one region, and then you get the others all from Sky Islands. I am unsure of how comfortable Uranium Meter is going up to Sky Islands and dealing with that area. So we're going to have to see how that goes when I have Sleet had another death going up the wall, but it's going to be a hard and slow path going up that area. The one other thing to think about is there are scavengers on the wall. They're going to be at the top of the wall, which maybe won't be too bad, but if you get up right before the shelter at the top of the wall, they could just clamor up the area. And now everyone hates Spearmaster, and they're probably going to try to kill them, is what's going to happen.
True. I mean, Leon can just like fly over them essentially because he has a Squid Kata. The one thing that I am also personally worried about for Leon Suzuken is there is still that echo at the very top of the wall that will be there regardless of what karma level Leon is currently at. It just spawns automatically. And so obviously that will pacify the Squid Kata, and Leon would not be able to get up that room without visiting the echo first. But in order to like the fastest way to like visit the echo and then go back up there again after waking up is by taking the shelter in the middle of the wall area, but that requires him to have food for that. Also, you
What?
fools taking the glowweed from the scavenger. So now So now all you fools needs to do is just grab food and hibernate, and then he will have the steel glowweed square, and that will definitely, if he's able to successfully do that, that will make blue team probably very nervous about red team's current progress.
I am interested to see what everyone is going for here. I think Uranium Eater's path makes sense here. They're going to go to Shaded and get the lanterns. They're going to set up 4 in a row for blue team. But for Dreki here, I don't know how many pearls they're at or what pathing they're thinking about here to get these 6 pearls so their team can win through the bingo. But whatever they do, they got to do something to get those pearls, and maybe they are going to choose to go up through farm arrays. So if UFOs, I'm seeing lanterns on UFO's side. If they've gotten lanterns, that could be really big for them. It looks like they got lanterns. To steal 2 lanterns and the glow weed, the lanterns is potentially the more important square here, blocking off the bingo. And now it's all up to Leon. What Leon does will decide if they get a bingo here or not, and will end the match here. Blue can no longer get their bingo.
King Vulture on Leon's screen eating the Squid Kata, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, having to reset there. It's going to be really hard to do this square. For right now, blue, I don't know what you go for, because you've got one person threatening the bingo, and the other person can kind of just go around and do whatever they want. You don't have any good bingos really set up right now, unless you have someone go to the waterfront facility and bring a hazer there, and then you've gotten 4 in a row again. Which potentially could be a good setup, but it's really rough. I potentially also see Dreki going up through farm arrays into Scions, getting the pearls, and then taking a squid and trying to race Leon. Anything could happen, really. Leon could be stalled here for the next 50 minutes. This is how hard this is going to be. But they have gotten fairly far into it, and anything could happen in these next rooms that Leon's going to be going through. Dreki is getting into farm race. Hopefully they're going to save right on the inside here, so they're going to save their progress. You Fools is kind of stuck here in Subterranean for now. I don't think they can really do anything unless they want to go Pipe Yard, get the Pipe Yard Pearl, or they're going to go back to Waterfront Facility, which could also be really good.
Which that's a good point, because Subterranean does technically have connections to both of those regions, and both of those spots would not be bad places to go. Because of course there is still a couple goals from Waterfront Facility that could block off some of Blue's potential bingos.
I do question if Blue Team is thinking that Red Team's actually going to be going for that Squid Cicada square. Maybe they just think they're going to fake it. Dreki's gotten a white Squid Cicada, and I question if this is them being like, all right, I'm not going to Sky Islands for a white Squid Cicada. I'm going to bring it all the way from Farm Rays. If they really do that, that's going to be the most insane thing. There's no way that that is what happens. Really unfortunate setup for Leon. They got past, I think they're past the hardest part at this point, is getting past that room. If they can get past these white lizards, they might just have it, and it might just be over. They need to move a bit more forward and actually get this backflip on the platform without getting seen, and then move off way to the left. However, they're going to take the inside side because they're worried about vultures or just actually making distance away from these white lizards. It's going to work out pretty well so far. All 4 white lizards are below them. Don't know where the blue lizard is. Just going to do these wall pounces. Scavengers now potentially become a thing in a second. Hopefully do not touch the pole plants. The white lizard is catching up to them again.
Dude, I'm on the edge of my seat right now looking at Leon.
It could be anything right now. It's still all right. White lizard still chasing them. There is only batflies up there. Normal vulture, that's chill. But it's hard to move downwards. Squid Cicada, moving it through the pipes. Should be fine now. You got to throw the Squid Cicada here. You cannot keep moving. So that's also the awkward part. It's almost impossible to bring a squid through pipes as Spearmaster. So it's going to take a little while, or they're going to go back the other way. It's like You Fools is actually near Miro Spurs, which I didn't even think about being there. I think they can just sit here and make spears forever, and they'll just inevitably kill these two, because they're both conjoined right now and can't move right next to You Fools. Really big square for red once again. Just getting more squares is really important in case they can't get the bingo.
Yeah, I see Uranium Eater is making his way towards Shaded Citadel, so Uranium Eater may be thinking of going to Waterfront Facility, because Shaded is kind of on the way, one of the middle regions to get to Waterfront, and could get like the
something I'm thinking about on Leon here as well. Just something about it. There's a pole plant that's only here as Spirit Master. Is Leon gonna remember? Oh yeah, they're gonna go to save. Hopefully they can save. I don't think they have enough food, but I don't know what has happened. They have no food. But they're thinking they can probably store the squid for a second and try to go for something, but there's really nothing to kill nearby. Unless a vulture is down below.
I mean, they pretty much have to get food at this point, because if they just kept going up to the top of the wall, then he would just get stunned by the echo. Yeah.
Yes. So they have to go for this. Either this, or they have to get the echo this time, and then do it a second time. All right, Dreki still here in Outskirts. If they can save an Industrial, it's very good progress going on for that. Uranium Eater in the middle of in the middle of shaded here, thinking about where to go. Ufos has killed one Miros bird. Thinking about going for more. They can definitely just sit in here and make spears all day, so it's not too much of a problem. Now, we're told that Ufos has gotten the 2 kills. Dreki's going to be making it past this pink lizard in a little bit. The one thing to notice about the squid cicadas, the one really good thing about carrying a squid cicada is that if a creature tries to bite a creature that you're holding, they cannot. And so if the squid cicada comes between the creature and you, they suddenly just cannot bite anything. Depends on the creature. This is really only true for lizards, but for centipedes or vultures, they can still just take it from you. I think Leon has gotten enough food at this point.
Yeah, there was a vulture down earlier that I think he ate from.
So they gotta hope the squid's still there, which I'm gonna assume it is, but you really never know. Now, because the squid's still alive, or at least we assume it's alive, if Leon just saved, it will be somewhere in the region, which it might just be in the leg, of course. But we'll find out. It's still there. Very nice.
Very well-behaved squid kata.
It's definitely with the one wide pipes that definitely have issues pathing through it. Dreki's still kind of catching up here. I don't think Leon can be stopped anymore. It took them about a half an hour, I think, for Leon to do this. But I think they've got it. They're going to get the echo. And then they're going to do the last flyover at the end here. Now, there's only these 2 white lizards, a pole plant, and the potential scavengers in the way, but that's really not much of anything at this point. I'm not really worrying about it. Yep. Dreki's got a long ways to go here. Neuron Eater, thinking about that safari unlock for the waterfront facility is not going to be something that is going to be easily gotten, but it'll be really important if they do get it. Ufos has died in subterranean, which is really unfortunate because they're not going to get that Miros bird square that they've been working on.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, at the end of the day, the biggest square that really matters is the one that Leon is going for right now, so not the biggest deal in the world, but again, kind of unfortunate, like you said.
I'm thinking about something. There's the snipe potential from Dreki. Instead of going up the wall, we go into underhang. I don't know if that's a good idea because it's Karma 5 is the one thing that I'm really thinking about. But if Dreki has the amount of Karma, it is easier, in theory at least. Because there's not going to be as many creatures, and you don't need to hit an echo on the way. You will not lose as much time. Dreki still hasn't saved since Farm Arrays, by the way. And is getting grabbed by this white lizard. It's really unfortunate because all of them are kind of going for them at this point. Going to have to go back to Farm Arrays here. Very, very unfortunate.
Yo, Leon's just flying up into the sky. Yo, look at that.
Oh, yes.
That's so cool.
At this point, Fools is not even playing anymore because they know they just need to look at Leon, finish it out here. But it is not too much of an issue going through these next areas, even with the scavengers, just because Leon can fly. Now we actually need to get up there. Slowly. We got it. This is probably one of the closest comebacks for a team that I've ever seen. Getting a bingo that was probably the hardest line here on the board, mostly because the randomness of the scavengers and going to garbage waste as well as this squid cicada being the hardest thing on the board, taking a lot of time. I believe it's been half an hour of work for Leon to get only this square. and slowly going to be floating along. Nothing can really stop them. I don't think King Vultures can show up here. Drekkie has to come back all the way from Farm Raise, so it's going to be quite a while before they can do anything. You Fools is also not dead somehow. I thought they died to Colesipede as well. Flashbang saving them from Colesipede again, so now they're still just existing. Just down here. It doesn't fully matter what they do. They could potentially lock in that Mirrorspurt Square. I don't know how close a shelter is. I think there isn't one anywhere nearby unless you go to the Leviathan shelter. Scavengers for Leon. We can just take our time. The ones in the actual enclosed room are going to be pretty rough. The one thing that I would think about is if Leon super takes their time and nighttime happens, masked scavengers will show up. I believe there are 2 of them. Scavengers will be hostile because as Spearmaster we have -40 rep. I don't think Leon has given Scavengers anything at any point.
Which again, as far as I understand, even if you have like negative rep and you don't interact with Scavengers at all, I think if I remember right, the Scav rep will gradually drift toward being neutral. So
yes.
Yeah, so the Scavengers.
So it is better than before. It looks like Leon is all good here. There's gonna be a popcorn on the other side, no issues. I think this is gonna be over for this match. Super into blue team side, but Leon going for the passage to save in multiple regions, and then Ufools getting the garbage wastes unlock right under uranium meter, right at the middle of this match. Changed everything. And then it didn't seem like a lot, but it became really easy to set up 2 lines that really could not be contested. Now that's going to be Leon saving in this square, and it's going to be red team winning this match. I can't believe that this happened like this. The hardest line in the whole setup. I don't think anyone really thought stealing the sea lantern was going to be easy. And taking the Squid Cicada Pebbles is crazy, especially if you haven't done it before. Just because you got to do it twice because that echo. But even then, Leon was able to get the squid to stay in the shelter while they got food, which was probably one of the more risky things as well, and it worked out. Leon and Uful's team will be moving on. They'll be facing my team, I believe, as the next in line here. Really good setup from them. Really good play from Drekkie and Uranium Meteor as well. They got control of the board really, really quickly. Pretty much all the squares you see now are the squares that they got right at the beginning of the game. And then it became a scramble of, I need to stop the bingos. But the one Drekkie was going for got sniped by Ufools because they had issues going through drainage, which is things that are just going to happen because this game is going to be really hard, especially some of these really long lines that you can go for.
Yeah, that was definitely
really good play.
Yep, very, very incredible comeback from Red Team. If you remember from the beginning of the match, Blue Team did, of course, manage to avoid dying toward the beginning of the match. They were able to get some squares pretty early on, and then as Drekkie was going for the Vulture Cheese strat, suddenly that's kind of where Leon, Sujiken, and the rest of Red Team diverged from Blue Team. Because up until then, we had people going for Chimney Canopy, people going for Garbage Wastes, and they were kind of both doing the same thing. So that was very incredible turnaround that Red Team was able to just pull that unexpected column E, and then, as you said, Blue Team was kind of left scrambling after that. Definitely very, very good performance from both teams, though, for sure, overall.
Right. So looking at future schedule stuff, so everyone's aware when other matches are happening. There are no matches currently scheduled for the Creator Clashes. We're going to have 2 more matches on the loser side. They're going to be set up right now. We already have one team ready for the grand finals, I believe. So it's mostly just doing the loser side matches. So it's going to be my team is going to have to face the team that won earlier today, and the team that won today is not going to be facing my team, but it's going to be facing the match of the team that won earlier today, and then that'll be the losers semifinals as we then think about moving on to the losers finals and then the grand finals. Now there's going to be a lot more matches to go forward from that. The other thing to talk about is the main tournament's grand finals is going to be this Monday night, and so it's going to be specifically on I'm reading the long time. Let me make sure that I look at the correct time here.
Isn't it like 1 a.m.?
So it's going to be 1 a.m. the Wednesday. So it's going to be 1 a.m. Eastern Wednesday. So it's going to be the Tuesday night is how it is going to happen. So look forward for the grand finals for the main tournament. It's still going to be, if the winner's side loses, then it's going to be bracket reset, and there'll be one more match for that tournament. Otherwise, look forward to the next schedulings for the Creative Clash. And thank you for watching this very, very good match. Could have gone either way. The bingo setup for Red Team, extremely good. And I've been nice. Thank you for doing commentary with me, Sheldon. It's been great doing this with you. And well, I think that's everything for us. Goodbye, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.